Alright guys, welcome back to Shockwaves Labs. It's been a hot minute since I've posted any videos. That's totally on me because I'm just a lazy guy sometimes. And I don't know. Anyways, sorry. But I built this deck. I call it Optimus Rhyme. It is a very fun deck and it's been really good to me. It's been very successful. So I figured that I would I do a video on it so people know about it because, I don't know, we're all on the same ship. We're trying to make the best decks. And so I haven't seen this anywhere else, but I'm sure people play with it. But I've experienced success with it. So anyways, let's get into it. So the team composes of Steeljaw, Blaster, and General Optimus Prime. Steeljaw is a cassette. When he comes out of Blaster, just for people to know, like when you start the game, it starts like this, and then when you transform Blaster, he kicks out Steeljaw. But when he kicks out Steeljaw, he kicks him out in bot mode. So this mode right here, cassette mode, is something you will almost never see. Well, at least for this deck. But going through the stats, he has a 0 attack in cassette mode, 9 health, and 1 defense. When he's in bot mode and he flips to cassette mode, all your guys get bold 1, and then he has stuff in this mode. But like I said, if you see this mode, you're in a lot of trouble, and I'll explain why, because of foreshadowing. But the mode he kicks out in bot mode, his attack is a 3, his defense stays at a 1, and he has bold 1. And then while he's in this mode, all characters with 10 stars or more get bold 1 as well. And then next we have Blaster. He starts with the cassette underneath him. And then the nice thing too is that this team is a 26-star team. But thanks to the magic of Blaster, since I have 1 cassette, I get 1 additional star to play with. And then when flipping to bot mode, stats in his alt mode. He has a 0 attack in alt mode, and he has a 2 defense, and he has 14 health, so he's pretty beefy. When you transform him to bot mode, you kick out the cassette, like I said before, and then you actually get to play the top card of your deck. Now the rub though is that you have to play it. So there are 3 rollouts in this deck. So if that rollout hits, unfortunately, when you kick him out, and then that happens, like you're gonna get this, which no one wants to see. At least not in this deck. But there's only 3 rollouts, and the chances of happening aren't stupendous. So it's one of those like benefits versus risks, and to me, the benefits outweigh the risks. But yeah, when you flip this mode, you play the top card of your deck, and then this allows for huge alpha strikes. Because he is getting bold from 2 characters, so he's swinging for 5 bold 2, plus whatever card he flips off the top card of his deck. And then last but not least, we have General Optimus. Super great card. For people who don't know, he has a 4 attack, 14 health, 3 defense, and all other bots get bold 1, tough 1. So he doesn't give it to himself, but all your other teammates get bold 1, tough 1. And then in bot mode, he gets bold 1, tough 1 for himself. The other guys lose it, but he also gets focus 1. And so, when building this deck, when I was at Gen Con, they were talking to the creators of the game. They were telling us about like the new mechanics, and that it almost felt like they were like nudging us towards making mixed decks. Like mixed decks are are kind of like the thing. Like, at least that's the message I got from talking to those guys. So I'm like, all right, well, let's check out this new ability Focus and see what's going on here. And so yeah, so this is a mix. Like it's an orange blue deck, and it now obviously Optimus is the only guy who uses Focus, but Optimus is a great tentpole. He will take down a couple bots most of the time because he's just the Focus. Even though it's only Focus 1, it will go a long way. It's pretty great. But yeah, that being said, we will get to the battle cards. We'll start off with the upgrades I use, and we'll take it from there. Cool. Alright, so here are the upgrades I use. I'm using 2 Iron Blasters of Optimus, 3 Matrices of Cheatership, 3 Improvised Shields, 2 New Grooves, 3 Grenade Launchers, 3 Picks, 3 Power Swords, 2 Bashing Shields, 2 Communicators, or 3 Communicators, and 2 Enforcement Batons. Counting's hard, apparently, between 2 and 3. Anyways, quick rundown of the cards. The Iron Blaster of Optimus Prime is a +2 attack, +1 defense. Only playable on Optimus, who would have guessed. Matrix of Cheatership is a +1 attack utility. That's an orange and blue pip, which is super huge for this deck. And also, if the character is equipped as a leader, all your guys get +1 Pierce 1. It's also playable on Autobots only, but it's not really relevant because all my guys are Autobots. Improvised Shield, tough 1 card. Now usually this card's in here because of the orange pips, but the nice thing is that it is a mixed color deck. So if you get one in your hand, you can actually play it, and it could make a difference actually. So it's not as much of a dead card in your hand as like a all vomit orange deck, but it is it's a little bit more useful in this, which is kind of nice. 2 Inner Groove, or the Inner Groove is +1 attack, +1 defense. Oh, Improvised Shield gives a tough 1. Jeez, I was talking about it and didn't see what it was. Improvised Shield gives a +1, or gives a tough 1. Inner Groove is a utility upgrade that gives +1 to attack, +1 to defense, but is only playable on cassettes. I know I'm like an advocate, like not like planning for like one particular card, but I mean the Iron Blasters of Optimus is good because it's just when it hits great. And Inner Groove is like you want to keep Steeljaw. Like you want to make Steeljaw a threat because he's kind of like an underdog, or he's overlooked a lot. But when you've got like Inner Groove and like a Power Sword on him, or Inner Groove and like a weapon, he starts to become very, very threatening. Anyways, back to the list. We have 3 grenade launchers. The grenade launchers are a +4 attack weapon that when you attack, you scrap it at the end of the attack. So I give you something that attacks twice. Grenade launcher will be there for the first attack, but won't be there for the second attack. Mining pick is a +1 to attack. When you attack, you get to plan 2, meaning you get to take 2 cards from your hand and put them on top of your deck. For every card that's put on top of your deck, the character gets +1 to attack, which is pretty sweet. Now mining pick is here because I was running 3 Erratic Lightnings, but since this is a mixed deck and defense does actually matter in here, the -1 to defense is actually like it's huge detriment. It's crazy, but I know it's only a -1, but that -1 really comes into play every now and then. But yeah, and mining pick's also there because I mean, if you got the Improvised Shield in your hand and you don't want to play it, it's a great plan card. I mean, it's just great. Power Sword, a bold 3 weapon upgrade, can only put on melee characters, and both Steeljaw and Optimus are melee are melee characters, so there's 2 people that can receive the weapon. It's nice. 2 Bashing Shields, because I mean armor. If you go against a heavy blue deck, you want to be able to get rid of that armor. That armor's got to go. 3 Feeble Communicators. I mean, it's a +1 upgrade. That's utility slot, which is great because you're just trying to output damage. But I mean, it really allows for Blaster to shine. Blaster, God bless it, like he can just do some amazing swings. It's so great. And then Enforcement Batons. It's a +1 weapon that when you play, you get to scrap the weapon because with Lionizer and Fire Drive and just like all those guys, I mean they're not bad. They're great cards. Just when you play up against them, they suck. But yeah, that's there to give for an answer for that. And I mean it's pretty straightforward. You're swinging. You're playing upgrades. It's an upgrade heavy deck for sure. But yeah, you're trying to keep it defensive with mining picks and power swords. But also in the meantime too, I mean you're doing actions to increase your damage output. So, but while you're doing that, you can also do upgrades to kind of like beef up your Steeljaw. So it's kind of like you're watching my left hand when you should have been watching my right hand, because people will focus on Blaster to ignore Steeljaw, and then Steeljaw will come back and just bite him in the ass. But yeah, other than that, everything right here is pretty straightforward. Um, and the lesson too that I made this mistake when I first built it. That inner groove works on Steeljaw whether he's in bot mode or alt mode. Because for some reason I had in my head that he did not have the mini cassette keyword in bot mode, but thanks to Wes, he's like, no, he has mini cassette in both modes. But yeah, yeah, these upgrades are just straightforward. Swing for defenses, put your enemies down, build up your defense. That being said, let's get to the action part of the battle cards. Alright, so here we have the action cards. Not a lot of actions, as you can see. Pretty straightforward. I've got 3 rollouts, 2 reckless charges, 3 marksmanships, 3 peace through tyrannies, and 3 leap into battles. Rollout is for you flip each of your characters from bot mode to alt mode. This card is like the only reason why this card is in here is because the orange blue pips. Because yeah, if this card is, I'm not, like it's pretty much a death sentence if you flip this card with Blaster, because it will shut you down. But that being said, like even though it's such a detriment, like getting this card on the flip for defenses and for attacks, it's like you're not going to draw it, but you're sure as heck going to flip it. Well, you're not guaranteed to draw it, but you're sure as heck going to flip it on your attacks and defense flips. We got the reckless charges, +4 to attack when, and they take 3 damage at the end of combat. That's there if you just have to put a bot down, or like you've got Blaster and he survived a round of attacks, and then he's like, I'm going to put down their Optimus, I'm going to put down their blah blah blah. Then yeah, you drop that reckless, come in swinging for defenses and put down their bot. Marksmanship, you as long as you have a ranged character on the board, you can do 2 damage to a bot or a transformer in bot mode. I sorely underestimated the value of direct damage. I learned my lesson, but originally I was rocking 3 one shot stands, 1 shot falls, but it goes against the philosophy of this deck, if that's even a thing, because you're obviously trying to output damage, but you're trying to minimize the damage to yourself. And there were a lot of times, well, not a lot, there were a few times where I would have a 1 shot stand in my hand, but like I couldn't play it because I'd play it and my character would die. And so marksmanship was the way to go, even though I have 1 ranged character. Optimus is usually the last to attack, and he can withstand 1 hit. It's very rare that something will put him down in 1 shot. But yeah, marksmanship, amazing card just to get that 2 direct damage onto someone. It is the bee's knees. Next we got Peace Through Tyranny, super great card, double orange pips. But it's there for like Blaster too. Or like just when you just need to get that second turn to put someone down. You can Peace Blaster, swing with Optimus, or the other way around. But it's it's great to swing with. And then we've got Leap into Battle, +3 to attack, nothing too fancy. It's in there. Actually, it's in there just because it's a blue pip card. So I wanted to get a little bit more blue in there, just to be able to build up my defense. But yeah, action-wise, yeah, like this is what I'm rocking. I know this kind of goes against what I was saying, where I was like, you don't want to damage yourself, but yet I'm running 2 reckless charges. The thing also with reckless charges is that the damage is done at the end of combat. That's super important. Versus one shot stands, that damage is immediate. This you get to do your damage, and then you take the damage after the fact. So that's why those guys are in there. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We just outputting damage, mix of orange and blue, and exploiting focuses for Optimus Prime and Blaster to exploit his ability to just do amazing alpha strikes. Yeah, that's pretty much it. There's not too much to say about these actions. So that being said, also, we are also, like, this is one of the first decks I actually have a sideboard for. Well, I have a sideboard that I use more often because I'll usually forget about sideboards. Because this deck definitely does have problems with heavy blue decks, actually. Like 2 tall heavy blues, this deck did have problems with until it got the sideboard going. But, yeah, I'm sorry. So yeah, so we'll get into that, and we'll discuss like the options of what this deck's weak to. All right, so here's the sideboard. So the issues that this deck has is 2 tall blues, and it's just running out of gas because like you're playing a lot of cards, and it's easy to run out of gas. So if you go against like combiners, heavy blues, you're gonna have a lot of issues with that. And other blue decks, because like if you go against like a King Starscream or something like that, and you can't with that, if your Alpha Strike fails, then you need to be able to plan for the long haul, and just like hunker down and like continue to attack. So that being said, here's the sideboard I've got 1 Bashing Shield. So if you're against a heavy blue and you just need to get that 1 extra Bashing Shield, or just increase your chances of having 1 in hand, so you can blow up whatever armor your opponent plays. You got that. If you're going against Decepticons, I've got 3 presses. Now, I'm not main boarding 3 presses just because, I mean, press is a great card. There is no denying that. +2 to attack. And then if you're the Decepticon, you get -2 to defense. I mean, I don't know why I read that, because everyone knows press, because I think even Magic players know what press does. Yeah, I've opted to the sideboard press just because not everyone does Decepticons, but the Reckless Charge will always swing for 4. So it's just that reliability. Although since press is fishable for +2, I mean, I can see both sides. I just decided to go, me personally, I just went with Reckless instead of presses for main boarding. But yeah, if I'm going against like Bugs or King Starscream or whatever, you better believe I'll be swapping out presses for swapping out Recklesses for presses. Then I've got 3 Espionages. That's also there just for more blue, because there's someone, if you're going against a heavy blue deck, you just want to limit their options. So Espionages will help with that. So if you bash 1 armor and Espionage another armor, no problem. It's just one less thing you have to worry about. And then Squish 'em like Bugs is there for combiners. It's just to ensure that you can get that combiner win. Because yeah, with combiners you're kind of in it for the long haul. They're 5 wides, and so like you're constantly trying to put them down, and that Squish 'em like Bugs will just help out, just throwing out that damage everywhere. Just like everyone takes damage, everyone takes 1. Yeah, it helps out. Substitution wise, like I would probably drop the. I mean, this is me personally. I would probably drop a couple of Inner Grooves for the Espionages, because, I mean, I feel like the control is going to be more important than boosting Steel Jaws attributes. But, I mean, that's also different playstyles. And then Squish 'em like Bugs. I pull out the, come on now. I pull out the Reckless Charges. Actually, I swap out Reckless Charges for Squish 'em like Bugs also. Just because it's that direct damage you're putting on them, and it's keeping your guys alive a little bit longer also. But yeah, that being said, that is my Optimus Rhyme deck. It's a lot of fun. I hope you guys see this video and take something away from it. Hopefully, maybe just inspire a different deck. Maybe you'll think like, man, that deck is baloney, but I do like Blaster, and maybe instead of Optimus Prime, I'll sub in Flame War. I mean, I don't know why I said Flame War, but you get what I'm saying. Hopefully this gets the creative juices flowing, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's been a while since I made one of these, so yeah, you guys have a good one. Late.